Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the C2C YouTube channel. And this episode is going to be talking about the hard, and that is, do you stop at the hard part of business building? I can't tell you how many coaches I speak to every single day that are always doing a lot of changes that are in their business. They're changing their programs all the time. They're changing their marketing offers all the time. They're changing the way that they market. They're doing Facebook ads for a week, and then they do organic for a week, and they're making all of these changes, and then they start having conversations like, hey, running a business or operating a coaching company is really, really tough. And this is where the hard part of business is something that we need to take a look at, because there are so many gears that we operate in business. And a lot of the time, when we have so many moving parts, it's really hard for us as business owners. And that's really what we need to see ourselves as coaches. We need to see ourselves as business owners. It's hard for us to take a step back and say, which is the piece of the puzzle? Which is the gear that's going to move my business forward? Where do I need to actually embrace the hard? And then where do I need to release the hard, because maybe I'm doing a lot of unnecessary things in order to try and build this brand so I can continue to show up as the highest level of coach. And in talking about this, I want to share with you guys a really recent example that happened in my life. It actually has nothing to do with business, but it's something that translates into the way that you are running your business day to day. So literally, I would say 4 days ago, I finished a backsplash in my house. I've never done backsplash before, something that's very new and very foreign to me. And when I decided to take this project on, it was me looking at a wall and seeing that the wall was a complete empty canvas, just like a business would be at the very start, and seeing only possibilities of what my beautiful kitchen could look like having this backsplash completely finished. And so I picked this really complicated, really intricate mosaic tile, and I kept thinking to myself of all of the positives. I was looking at this tile, seeing how beautiful it would be, how exciting it would be to have this on the wall, to have people entertain and be like, wow, look at this wall. It's absolutely fantastic. To finally have backsplash so that way I could get the walls dirty without having to worry about scrubbing paint or damaging the drywall. There were so many positives and benefits. And the thing is, whenever we are starting something new in coaching, whether it's a new marketing tool, a new program, a new promotion, a new piece of content, it's really easy to get excited about it because we are looking at all of the opportunities. We're looking at all of the possibilities. We're looking at what can happen for us by doing this thing. And there's another thing and another layer that gets added where you might see other people do it. Like you're looking at what other coaches are doing or other people with their backsplash looking so beautiful. And you say to yourself, wow, I really want that. So I'm going to take initiative and I'm going to take action on it. And this new level of excitement is really great. It's kind of the reason why you started business. It's the reason why you started coaching. And a lot of good has come from having a really exciting idea, getting fired up about it, and then taking action on that thing. So, number one, commend you for doing what I did with this backsplash, which is like, hey, let's go ahead and let's do it. Then, as I started this backsplash, I purchased all the materials. I started to look at all the things. I didn't know that there were so many different versions of grout and other different ways of being able to put backsplash on. And in looking at it, then the kind of worry sets in where you go, oh, wow, like there's actually a lot more to this than I thought. But you're like, okay, I'm still going to implement, but it just means that I didn't have enough information, or maybe I didn't look into this at a deeper level for me to be able to begin. This is where in business you spend a lot of time gathering information on what is supposed to work for you. How do I market in a way that works for me? How do I create content in a way that works for me? How do I deliver my programs? Some people it's one-on-one, some people it's group coaching in a way that works for me. Because maybe, and there are a lot of different ways of building business, a lot of different ways of attracting leads. Maybe all of those ways work, but there's going to be one in which you like, one in which is easier for you, as opposed to doing them all or doing them in the way that you saw. So, took a look at all of the steps to do backsplash. All of my products and all the materials and stuff were ordered. So I'm like, cool, now it's time for me to set this weekend and for me to literally do it in 2 days. Here's the thing. Nothing in life is linear like that. It always takes twice the amount of time. It's always double the budget. And what you don't realize sometimes is in business, things look really, really simple, but often the most simple things are the most intricate because it's a second to learn and a lifetime to master to actually apply that thing. So here I am starting this backsplash and I'm going, shit, I can't level this because this mosaic tile comes in a sheet and it's really complicated. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then also I had to make 1,000 different cuts to different pieces and I've never cut tile before. And in doing this, I got to the part where most coaches get in their business, which is the part where it gets really hard. And here's the thing, anything that you are implementing in business, a new marketing strategy, you've launched a new program, you're creating totally different content to a different demographic than you have before, anything that you apply in business that is new, you're going to get to a place where there is the bottom of this curve where this is hard work. And the bottom of the curve exists for a reason. It exists to show you that there is a reason why not everyone succeeds at that thing. There's a reason why you hire professionals to do things like backsplash and towel. There's a reason why not everyone has successful businesses or has successful coaching programs or promotes content successfully, because this lower level of this kind of hard is like where the nitty gritty and the work and the effort happens. It's where discipline appears. It's where consistency appears. It's where your greatest level of fear appears. And here's the thing where it comes to business. Where a lot of coaches get it wrong is this is where they stop and then this is where they make a change to the next exciting thing. They don't embrace the suck. They don't embrace the hard in that moment. They don't carry through that to then see what the end of it is, which is a result in something that makes you feel fulfilled and excited. So in sharing this little backsplash adventure, okay, we got to about 3 hours in and I was like, fuck, this is not working. This is not turning out the way that I thought it was going to turn out. And my father was helping me at that time, and he looked at me, and I didn't say this out loud, but he could see it in my face, and he turns to me and he goes, did you want to stop and did you want to hire somebody? Because I see the look on your face right now, and the look on your face is, shit, did I make a really big mistake? This is a lot harder than I thought it was. Like, do you just want to give up? And his words exactly, do you just want to give up and have somebody else do it? And then I realized something. As a coach, and you have this as a coach as well, we are all in the coaching industry because something happened to us. For me, it was I had hormonal issues. For some people, it's they have digestive issues. For others, you worked with a coach in the past that completely changed your life. And we see the value of what we do every single day. We are not the type of people who give up. When it comes to health and fitness, you're exercising every day. When it comes to nutrition, you're eating healthy every day. And those are things that you can choose actively at any moment to give up, and you don't. Even though someday it's hard, even though sometimes it can feel overwhelming or it can feel arduous, you're still disciplined enough to do those things. And this is where when we have certain parts of our business that we're always like dodging or we're always changing, which tends to be marketing, which tends to be content, which tends to be promotions, we have to ask ourselves, why in that moment are we giving up when it's hard? Why are we not doubling down like we would do in other aspects of our life? Because in reality, if you gave up every time a relationship gets hard, you'd be single forever. If you gave up every single time the market went down and you had some investments, you would not invest and you would be poor forever. All of these things are things that we would double down on, and this is where the discipline comes into play. So in that moment, I had to make a choice. And it's the choice that every single coach makes to determine whether or not their business is successful or they stay on the stuck train, the train where they're always changing their methods to try and kind of throw shit on the wall in hopes that it sticks. I had to decide, was I going to finish what I started, or was I going to let someone else do it or stop it and cancel it and completely kibosh this project? So I turned to my dad and I said, listen, we started this process. We know how to do it. We've done it before because I have done backsplash before. I've never done anything like this. Why on earth would I stop? Why on earth would I just throw it away when I'm already in the process? Let's do it and let's get it done. And the moment I made that commitment, and I made it verbally and I made it energetically, I doubled down on that thing that wasn't working in that moment. And I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to slow down. We're going to be more patient with the process, and we're going to take our time. And sure enough, I got all the backsplash up. I got it all grouted. It did take longer than I thought it would, 4 days, and there was a lot more finish work than I thought, but I learned a lot through the process, and the most important thing was at the end, I was super proud of myself for the result, and it was exactly what I envisioned. Because through the work, through the hard, through the challenge, that's where you get the results of the seeds that you sow. So here's why I share this story. Because when you guys are creating content and when you guys are promoting programs, you do not stick with one thing. And you need to stick with one thing and be consistent with it. I have a lot of coaches who complain, I'm stuck at this 10 to 15K mark, and it's not the money mark that they're stuck in. What they're stuck in is there's certain pieces of their business that are not performing as well as it could be. And it's always lead gen and it's always lead follow-up. And when it comes to lead generation, I go, well, what are you doing consistently? And we look at their content and it's 1 week they're posting 1 time, but the following week they're posting 3 times. The month after that, it's once in a month, but the month following that month, it's every single day. They're inconsistent, and so you're going to get inconsistent results. So can you really blame that, oh, I'm not getting anyone consistently from posts? No, because you're not doing the hard thing, and the hard thing is to show up daily to make that work. Now, when it comes to ads is something that can work, but the issue is people give up way too easily. They spend $300 on ads, and then when they see that no leads are coming in, they go, I don't want to waste more money. Fear builds up. They lose the excitement. And the hard part about ads is continuously testing and changing ads to get it to work. Unlike us, where our ads work, because my ads run evergreen for an entire year, I'm making adjustments month over month, regardless of the amount of leads that I get, regardless of the amount of money that I make from ads. And so what happens when I do the hard part, which is stay in it for longer, I learn what works and what doesn't. I pay for ads in different areas. And so I have the ability to be able to test. And it's the same thing when it comes to social media. People say, hey, I don't get leads from social media. Okay, well, you have to test different platforms. You have to test different times to post. You have to test posting frequency. You have to test changing your verbiage. You also have to test your audience. And all of those things are variables. They're different types of gears that go into posting in order for you to get the results that you want. So if every single time I got excited about something, like I'm excited to talk to a new audience, if I gave up 3 or 4 posts in because I didn't get the result that I wanted or I haven't seen a result yet, the moment you move on to a new thing and you don't fully finish that thing, it's that lack of commitment. It's that lack of consistency, that loss of discipline in that moment that prevents you from seeing long-term results. What got you to this point in your business right now of making 10 to 15K, that was just grit and work. That's not going to get you past 15K months. It's not going to get you past your first 25 to 30 clients because you can't keep trading your time for money. You can't keep trading, doing the same thing, trying to get a different result. It doesn't work that way. You have to start looking at where can I improve my processes to do them better. So the hard part for organic marketing is testing those 5 pieces that I said. Testing the different platforms, testing your post frequency, testing the variables in your content, like your call to actions and the way you're writing your posts, testing your audience. All of those things go into the hard part of staying consistent with social media. When it comes to ads, the hard part is changing up your messaging, changing your audiences, adjusting the types of photos and images, and then, of course, changing your ad budget. Now, what about launching a program? The hard part about launching a program where people get stuck is they feel like they're repeating the message of marketing over and over. They get tired of talking about it, and so they start talking about it less, and so less and less people know about it. And the hard part there is talking about it so much that more and more people continue to talk about it. If you're promoting a program, and let's say the program has a 60 to 90 day launch, like the people who go through our fast launch, launching it in 60 days. In 60 days, by day 30, you should be talking about it every single day, multiple times a day, to the point where someone goes, man, I've heard about this program, fast launch, 3 times. At this point, I either have to decide if I'm doing it or if I'm not doing it. And if you're reaching out to friends and family and they haven't heard your promotions, you're not talking about it enough. But that's the hard part. That is where a lot of coaches tend to give up, where they say to themselves, you know what, I'm good. It's not working for me. The promotions are not working. Organic marketing, not working. Posting on LinkedIn or Instagram, not working. And so you start hopping from thing to thing. Now, once we have people in our funnel, where's the hard part there? The hard part is being consistent and following up with those people. So if you get a lead, do you continue to talk to them? Do you continue to reach out to them? Do you continue to ask them to hop on that discovery call until they either respond to you or they tell you no? Or do you give up after the 3rd message? If someone were to reach out to you right now and you send one message, hey, let's hop on a call on Thursday, and then Wednesday comes, Thursday comes, are you messaging them again? Are you reaching out to them again to the point where they say, hey, you know what? I've changed my mind. I'm not interested. You're probably not doing that. Now, it's easy when things get hard, and this is where fear comes in as a coach, okay? And you guys talk about this with your clients all the time. You should recognize fear that comes into your life too. The hardest fear to recognize is the fear that shows up as logical fear. It's the fear that makes sense. So when something gets really hard, you can say to yourself as a fear, like, you know what? It's not my marketing. It's that people are just not committed. They're not serious. Okay, that's partially true, but are you really telling yourself the truth in that moment? I used to tell myself that all the time. Oh, you know what? I just have really flaky leads. I mean, the person reached out to you. Is it really that they're flaky, or do they have busy lives? Do they have overwhelming stress? Are they afraid of talking to a coach? Are you attracting the right people? There's so many things that you can take full ownership of, but are you? And a lot of the times that hard, once we surpass that hard and say, I'm doubling down on this, I'm giving this an honest effort, that's when we get results. So as an example, when people tell me I'm not getting leads from Instagram or from Facebook, and I say, I am, well, they go, well, how do you do that? Okay, well, I'm showing up every day. Are you? No. Okay, well, how about start there? Or when it comes to, hey, how are you getting these people to show up on the call and pay in full and say, hey, I want to work with you because my consults aren't working that way? Okay, well, are you recording your consults? Are you listening to your verbiage? Are you attracting the right people? Are you presenting your program in a way that's, not a sleazy sales way and it's more service based in terms of selling? Have you worked on all of those things truly to surpass the hard part, which is getting someone to sign up for your program? And a lot of the times, there are things that they're not doing. And it could be easy for us to look at the new thing or look at the next thing or try to implement something else in our business. But in reality, there's core foundations that can always be built even better. You can sell better every single day. If you're not closing 100% of people, and I hate the word closing, but you guys know what I mean. If someone is hopping on a discovery call with you and they are not signing up 100% of the time, then you can always do better at selling or promoting your programs. If you're promoting and you're getting 50 leads, could you promote and get 100 leads? Yes. So you can always promote better. You can always create better content. You can always show up better as a coach for your delivery. And sometimes it's not about doing more, or it's not about doing the new thing. It's about doing the old thing better to a point where we're seeing a better result. Now, once we surpass this hard, where the excitement returns is when we actually see the results of our labor. And this is the same thing of sowing a field. When you sow seeds in a field and you start to then water them and plant them and you're pulling weeds out, and pulling weeds out is pulling stuff out of your business that's not working, and you start to nurture them, which is creating content and following up with your leads, it might take 3 or 4 months before you see the result. So the question then becomes, are you prepared, and are you patient enough, and are you disciplined enough to wait and stick it out to see results? So as an example, organic marketing is lifelong marketing. So that means you need to be prepared from a social media perspective to post every single day as long as you are a coach and in business. Are you prepared to be in that game of staying? Staying in business, staying in content, staying in your relationships. That's what that is. It's the game of staying. So are you prepared to do that lifelong? When it comes to running ads, if you're going to run paid ads, it can't be something you do for 1 or 2 months. It needs to be something you do for 6 months or 12 months. If you run a campaign at 1 or 2 months, you don't have enough numbers for you to be able to change and adjust to see if it's working or not. You need to give things a genuine shot. And it's the same thing with coaching. If you're hiring people to help you create your content, if you're hiring someone to help inside of your business, it can't be a 1 month or 2 month thing. Or let me hire a coach that gives me 4 calls. Because that's a very short commitment and not a lot of things can be changed. Like when I work with a coach, it's always 6 months, it's 8 months, it's 12 months, because I know that the implementation, that the changes, that the adjustments, that the questions and the transformation within me is going to take longer than the time that I'm actually going to be actively spending with that person. And it's the same thing with our programs. The people within the C2C are within a 6 month to 12 month, not because it takes 6 months to see results, but because they're committed long term to making those adjustments in their business so it can be a sustainable change. So the biggest part about this journey and stopping is the stopping at the part of hard. And just like we would coach our clients and we would say, listen, the couple of weeks where you didn't see weight loss, you might see weight loss the next week. So why would you stop? The couple weeks where you didn't get your energy back when you were eating healthy foods, why would you stop eating healthy foods? Because energy is coming. Energy is building. The couple of days where you didn't sleep, if you slept 8 hours a day every single day, you would see a change. And this is where the simplest things are the most effective things. And I'll be the first one to say that nothing that I teach in terms of coaching people on business or coaching people in our health programs is different. People have said the information. It's probably already things that they know, but we need to act upon the doing. We need to actually do. Now, here's the part of this which I really want to go into, which when I was having this conversation with a coach, they were like, okay, well, how do I know about when to embrace the hard or when to say, that thing is not for me? There's a difference between something being hard and difficult and you learning from it, or something not being for you. So, as an example of this, when it comes to social media and content, a lot of coaches don't realize that a lot of coaching has to do with marketing, promoting your programs, being on social media. And it could be easy to be like, I don't like being on camera. It's really hard for me to be on camera. So, like, it must not be for me. That's not true. That's an excuse that you're telling yourself because you're showing up as a coach, probably on coaching calls, and you're face to face with people talking to them. So if you can do that, if you can talk to them that way, you're using the social media and the cameras aren't for me as an excuse, just as an example. Because if you're doing it in one aspect, but you're not doing it in another, you're out of integrity. And it's really important to see that. That's not hard. That's something you're avoiding because you don't want to go through the growing pains of that. So that's not a hard thing. Another example of this would be like, I don't know my business numbers. So many coaches, if I were to say, what are your retention rates? What are your sign-on rates? What are your close rates? What are your KPIs? They're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not the accountant or the business person. True. I'm not an accountant either. But if you don't know how many people are hopping on consultations and how many people are signing up for your programs, if you don't know how much reoccurring revenue you have every month, if you don't know what your average viewership is for stuff like your videos, then those are metrics that you're using to make decisions on your business. So if you claim to be an entrepreneur, if you claim to be a coach, you as a coach are tracking KPIs for your clients right now. You're teaching them, hey, you got to track your weight every single day in order for you to see whether or not it goes up and down. We got to track our measurements every week in order for us to see if we're losing muscle or fat. You have to write down your digestion, your hunger and fullness cues, any cravings that you have, so we can check and see whether or not you're eating at the right times or the right intervals. If you're telling people to track metrics and to track numbers, well, then you should be doing the same thing as a coach. So the question is, are you? We could say it's hard, but if we're telling someone else to do it, then it's not that it's impossible or it's not for us. It's that we don't want to embrace the hard. And there's a lot of things as coaches that we hesitate to embrace. And one of my mentors, this was like 8 years ago, I was like, listen, I'm having a really hard time. I'm not getting people to sign up for my programs. And he's like, how many consults have you had this month? And I couldn't tell him how many people I spoke to. He's like, you don't even know how many people you've spoken to this month? That's crazy. And one of the things that I do every single week is I update a spreadsheet of how many people I talk to, how many people go through our programs, what our retention rates are, because it helps me make decisions. Like I know that if I have 50 leads come in and 30 people sign up, okay, cool. I've got like a 66% close rate. I know what that looks like. I can work on that. I can start to look at my consultations. I can start to record them and listen and see what I'm doing wrong. I make decisions based off of that number. So that's not a real hard. Here's what's a real hard. I'm not a lawyer. And no coach should be a lawyer. I don't know the law. Knowing the law is not going to benefit me. I don't pretend to know legal things. So sure, could I try to create a legal contract in my business? Yeah, that's going to be really hard. I'll probably do it really shitty. It'll take me more time. And the only lesson I would learn from that is I should hire a lawyer. That's a hard that I don't need to be doing. My bookkeeping. Can I track numbers? Yes. Is there a benefit to me adding up all of my expenses every month when someone else can do it at a cheaper and faster time and give me the same information? Yes. So like as an example, you're not telling your clients to fix their own car. You're telling them, go get your car fixed so you can eat healthy meals instead of wasting your time fixing your car. And this is where sometimes we take on the hard that is unnecessary. You're trying to create contracts. You're trying to spend your time on landing pages when you don't need to do that. You're embracing things that actually provide no value in your business. And so the hard shows up to show you that this is unnecessarily difficult because it does not belong to you. When we do things that we're not supposed to be doing in our business, they take 3 times as long. That's something we never finish, and we always do a poor job with it, and we have to revisit it later on. That is unnecessary hard. And guess what? When we complete something that unnecessarily difficult, we're left feeling this was hard for no reason and I shouldn't have done it. You know the things that you're working on every single day as a coach in your business that you should not be working on in your business. Like if you are struggling to get and attract more clients and to fill your funnel, why on earth are you trying to create more modules in your program? You're focusing on the wrong things. If you are creating content and you're not getting people reaching out from it, should you really be trying to talk to physiotherapists or talk to people or try to build affiliate relationships? Probably not. You've got a more pressing issue. So the hard comes at you in 2 ways, but it's always to teach you a lesson, and it's always for you in the best way. When I experience hard, the first thing that I say to myself is, why is this in my life right now? Is it here to teach me a lesson, and the lesson is I need to grow because I'm playing small? Or is it here to teach me that I'm focusing on the wrong things and it's here to steer me in the path? Because as long as I can look at that objectively, I can make the best decisions that are going to be in alignment for me, for my business, and in alignment with the clients that I work with. Because at the end of the day, as a coach, you should be in full alignment with everything that you do in your business. Your social media should be exciting. Marketing your program should be exciting. Promoting your offer should be exciting, because after all, you've got a banger of a program. Why wouldn't you promote it? All of those things should light you up and get you excited every single day. If they're not, if there's something that is hard, evaluate it, look at it, sit down and say to yourself, okay, why is there hard in this? And sometimes the hard part just kind of like a groove in a record. And I don't know why I say record. I mean, record is like archaic, but like if you guys know what a if you know what a record is, if you guys have seen a record that has like a groove, you have now hit into this little kind of stuck point where the record keeps playing on that groove every single time. Sometimes it's hard because you have so much on your plate. You have to overcome all that shit just to like get a little hump or an extra level of energy to get yourself out of the groove that you're in. So sometimes the hard is literally just looking at all the hard things that you're doing and say, what do I need to delete out of this? I delete so much stuff in my day, week over week, because I'm like, why am I focusing on that? Why am I doing this? Why does this exist? How did this get into my schedule? Why did my teammate book this? All of these things show up to continuously remind you of what your focus and your priorities are. If you have a lot of to-dos, if you have a lot of stuff on your list that's preventing you from showing up as the highest level of coach and from building your business, then either tackle that stuff or delete it so you can be all in. You do not need to have hard all the time. But stopping at the hard part of course, building your business is not something that you should be doing. You should be working through the hard because that's where results and achieving clients are. So thanks guys for watching this episode of C2C. Before I go, remember we are literally at this point, I think 4 or 5 days away from that training, which is going to be building a live value funnel system to be able to bring in leads. I cannot share this enough, and I'll keep sharing it because why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I share with you the most valuable information ever? It's teaching you guys how to build a value stack funnel system where people are going to continue to ascend through your programs. It is one of the most phenomenal things that you can do, both for people learning about you as a coach and for your existing clients, because they can learn more as well. It builds content for you long term, and at the same time, it allows you to build trust so people buy your programs a lot faster. Get in at this. Just send me a DM with the word value, or reach out to the C2C. There's an email that's in the say show notes. There's an email that's in the YouTube channel there, and just say, hey, look, I want to be a part of this August 1st. It's August 1st at 7 p.m. This is going to be done live, so you'll be able to get your questions answered. Coaches, don't miss this. Join in. It's completely free. You'll get it. And if you want the recording, let's say you can't make it at 7 p.m. EST, you still have to register for it, because I'm not just going to throw this recording up there. I want to make sure that all of these trainings are intentional and that the people who want it are the ones who show up. So August 1st, DM me the word value, email me, message me, say, hey, look, I want in on this training, so that way you can hop in on it. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.